For the past 10 to 12 years, my mind has been completely consumed with Starcraft. I'm always going over it, I'm always trying to learn more, I'm always trying to practice and get better. I watch it and it just makes sense to me. I see every little tiny thing that happens and all of it means something.
I was the guy who was asleep in your high school classroom. I was the person in hour 1 English class, senior year of high school, who was asleep on the desk. And a lot of people would say, why is he asleep on the desk? Is it a broken home? You know, is he addicted to drugs? No, I was just up all night playing Starcraft after my mom went to bed. That's just who I was.
You don't get to choose what you're passionate about. I just love Starcraft. It's the most beautiful thing in the world to me.
I definitely have an emotional attachment to games. When I'm not playing games, I feel like my life lacks meaning.
Just every single aspect of it strikes a chord deep inside of me.
Gaming's just like a part of who I am.
Starcraft is the hardest game ever.
It is so perfect in every way.
It is the most demanding game ever made.
It's perfectly hard mechanically, to the point where it's like you have to be as good as a tightrope walker to play it. Otherwise you can't even touch it. It's like you're not physically fit enough to do it.
It is so deep strategically, but at the same time, it's not turn-based. While games like chess are great and very hard, I mean, it can't hold a candle because it's like you're playing chess with 3 very different colors and you don't always know what your opponent's doing, and everyone's doing everything as fast as they possibly can.
Why do I love StarCraft? I just love it. It's such a good game. Nothing compares to it.
You know what the ironic thing is? When StarCraft was created, it was never made to become a pro game. It was never made for competition. And I've had friends at Blizzard say that, you know, there were things that pro gamers were doing that they didn't think were possible, like the eraser play or glitching a drone through minerals and things like that. That's not what the game was meant to be.
StarCraft is the computer game that came out in 1998 that was so popular that it created a new industry called esports.
Esports is a form of gaming, but it doesn't mean that all forms of gaming can be esports. Something that's not competitive, like Skyrim, or Final Fantasy, or Mario 3. That's hard to beat. It's a challenge, but it's not an esport. It's not something that you can compete in a digital atmosphere against another person.
Now that I've been immersed into esports and I've been exposed, and I've been to the tournaments and met the players and watched the matches, it really is like conventional sports. It's like watching the NBA, NFL. I get the same feelings, the same thrills from it.
So esports at this point, I mean, we have the eyeballs. People are watching, there is no doubt about that. It rivals the NBA finals, college football. After every major event, they release the stream numbers, and you can see it's just growing to the extent that it equals or sometimes surpasses mainstream media entertainment.
We all used to be giant nerds. Well, not all of us, but most of us. And we have been underappreciated for our passion for gaming for our entire childhood and teenage years. And now suddenly It's cool, it's awesome, we make money from it, it's electric, people are social. It unifies the entire world. I know people from 50 countries. I don't think there's anybody I know from high school my age who can say that.
I think at this point in time, it's just going to keep getting bigger. If you look at our age demographic, pretty much everybody plays games. Yeah. Pretty much everybody plays games. People older than us, most people play games. Everybody younger than us, everybody plays games. It's not a taboo. It's a social norm. It's part of life.
I am a big Starcraft fan.
I am a Starcraft fan. I'm a Starcraft pro gamer. I'm a Starcraft enthusiast. I'm a Starcraft everything.
I'm a player, and I'm good enough to know that I'm bad. I'm not sure. I just started playing, and it is really because I started watching the GSL with Tastosis. The GSL basically, combined my love of sport and Starcraft video games together, and gave it to me in a format that I just really enjoyed.
What Nick and Dan have done for StarCraft 2 is they've given personality to the game.
They're like the originals, I suppose you could say. Tasteless was the first English commentator of Starcraft, period. And Artosis has been like the life partner from when they were, 16 years old or whatever.
For the most part, they're out there every day at the GSL. They have a 5-minute break and they spend all 5 minutes of it signing autographs, meeting fans, just talking about anything about StarCraft because they're StarCraft fans too, so they can relate to everyone that comes out and watches what they do.
I think it's the dynamic between the two of them. So you've got Artosis, who's really analytical, he understands the game really well. And then you've got Tasteless, who always brings it back to the kind of noobs like me who don't really understand the game very well, but he's very entertaining.
I don't think I would watch without them. I mean, I have no background knowledge, and they really bring me in with their sense of humor, and they're just down to earthness.
3, 2, 1.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Tasteless and Artosis here at DreamHack in Sweden.
Oh my, pretty sick. I am pretty excited about this Tasteless. We're gonna start off pretty quickly here.
Yeah.
It's just a little tiny delay, but it's all better now.
Yeah.
We're going into game number 1, Cloud against Phoenix.
Should be excellent.
It should be, man. Cloud, one of my favorite players from StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2.
The thing that makes StarCraft 2 so peculiar amongst esports is that there is that huge fan base that's very casual, that doesn't play the game, that just watches it and watches purely as a spectator. And that's what's actually really exciting about it, because that's what you get in conventional sports. StarCraft 2 is exciting enough to a spectator that we can actually maintain that. And a big part of that, is the casters, because those are the people who don't understand the game on a really deep basis. They don't have that experience playing it, so the casters have to make that understandable to them.
A caster is someone who describes what's going on to make the action more entertaining for the viewer. You can just watch sports, you can just watch esports, but what the caster brings to sports or an esport is it brings life. You can tell that someone typed in GG at the end of a StarCraft game, but when you hear the caster saying, "Oh, GG," it changes everything. It brings color to a black and white game.
More storms down here. Very nice storms going on, even Archon being made. The charge lot's cleaning up and parting, crushing the army of MVP. Absolutely awesome. 113.
I love casting because it lets me show you how beautiful StarCraft is. It's really as simple as that. I want to show my favorite game to everyone and try to let you see it how I see it. Because the way that I see it, it's beautiful. If I can somehow show you with my words what I'm seeing and you can have that same experience, I know you're gonna be a fan for life.
When Dan and me started casting, we could have done like an ESPN style or been super serious, but what we decided on was that our viewers are probably not that different from us. One of the things that we try to do is we try to talk about stuff like comics or other older video games, and we're trying to basically embrace this bigger idea, which is nerd culture.
Actually, you know what we are now? What? With a preview computer up. I'm Batman, and you're another Batman. Whoa, you just got it! Wow.
Yeah. You thought I was going to short you and give you Robin.
I knew you weren't going to do that.
Or Alpha.
Because if you did that, then we wouldn't be friends anymore. I think the best and most important part of the Tastosis casting Archon is the fact that we're good friends and we have a lot of fun. We both casted with a lot of people, and I have to tell you, it makes a huge difference if you're actually friends with each other that talk a lot. For me, going to work is this cool kind of playtime. Yes, it's work, but I'm going to see my best friend and we're gonna joke around before, during, and after work. And welcome to the GSL. I am our... Oh, fuck, you scared me. I'll go to Shinrim together?
Yeah.
You should live, I live in Shinrim, yeah.
House.
It's fine.
My girlfriend lives in Shinrim.
Does she? How's that going?
How's your girlfriend doing?
She needs more vitamins.
I've always been fascinated with humor because it's like the great diffuser of like tension. It's how you cope with being sad or being stressed, and that's one of the things with Dan. I mean, Dan is so funny. If you think Dan's funny on camera, he is way funnier when he's off camera. When he can actually just say anything, he's hilarious. And that's probably why we're best friends out here, is that we can relate like that.
Do we have an interview now?
Yeah, right.
Where is it?
We go in there first? In the press room. We have to wait until the player interviews.
Okay. Squirtle?
And someone has to translate.
Okay, we're still gonna... Why do we have to wait for Squirtle, man? We're still gonna be talking when Squirtle's like fucking got his hands in his fucking face crying because MVP got his 4th title. MVP doesn't care who it's against, man. What MVP does, you know what he's gonna do to prepare, man? He's not gonna make special builds. You know what he's gonna do? He's just gonna pretend that Squirtle's Marine King and just fucking kill him like a 4-0. He doesn't care, dude. He can use any strategy to kill Marine King with, man. Squirtle could fucking play Zerg and do a Baneling bust, and you'd just be like, ah, listen, Marine King. Name himself after an internet cat. I'm like, I make my name, I'm like, I has Cheeseburger Prime. Humor is definitely one of the biggest parts of our cast. It adds a more human element. It makes it, in my opinion, more fun for me to do and for me to watch when I watch anyone that's funny cast it. Let's be real. Let's tone this back a bit. This is a video game. We are watching kids play a video game to make hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay? This is cool, this is cutting edge, and if we can't have humor involved in that, then I don't think I want to be a part of it.
DreamHack is basically the internet. It's a digital Woodstock, but there's no mud and there's no drugs. At the same time as it is a digital Woodstock, it's like the World Cup of esports. 520 people work here, divided in separate teams. We basically have every function to run a city. We have medics, we have security, we have police. We have a hockey arena where we're gonna seat 4,000 people in the audience, and it's sold out. So you do the math, dude. DreamHack is not about the technology. DreamHack is about, meeting people with a common interest. So everybody is here for the same reason. So there's no enemies here. It's only friends and family. It means that we have Tastosis, so we have basically the best casters in the world working here right now. Man, do they work hard. It's almost like, the real athletes are the casters and not the players, because the casters, they have like 15, 16-hour schedules. That's pretty impressive to be entertaining in 16 hours in a row. It's like, I couldn't do that.
GG! And the game that never ends is over.
Hour and 14 minutes.
They come back to us when we have long gray beards.
Our hair is gray.
Ready, guys? Here we are.
I do think that was one of the longest televised games. Somebody fact check me on that. Let me know on Twitter.
That was pretty long, man.
So we're gonna wrap it up here. But Tasteless with his eye infection and Artosis will be back soon to bring you more awesome StarCraft 2 action here at DreamHack 2011.
So being a caster in esports, I think, is probably one of the most misunderstood jobs. A lot of people think that we're basically just going up there and talking. There's no kind of method to what we're actually doing.
I mean, first of all, we have
like the coolest jobs in the whole world. The hands down the coolest jobs in the whole world. We get to fly around the world and talk about our favorite video game. But I mean, that doesn't mean that it's not incredibly taxing. We've put so much effort into it. We're on air for, you know, just at Golem, which is our easiest broadcast, for about 4.5 hours. That's longer than the movie Titanic. That's longer than, you know, Phantom of the Opera.
And we talk the entire time.
We talk the entire
with
time.
Completely original content. Like,
yeah.
We are constantly ad-libbing, making things up, analyzing things. Oftentimes the same players, oftentimes new players. It's a huge mixture.
It is one of the biggest pressures that all casters face every cast. It's like, I need to be smart, I need to not miss anything, and there's a lot to miss and to get distracted by, get caught up in a battle and miss a drop, and I need to be really funny. I know a lot of people who've really struggled with that, where they're saying, I'm exhausted, I've been casting for 3 weeks straight, no breaks, and now I have to be funny again. I don't have any more jokes. I'd be happy to sit in a coffee shop and think of jokes for 3 hours, but I don't even have 10 minutes. So what do I do?
My brain is so tired after that.
Well, there goes all our momentum for today. How'd the cast look? It looks great, actually. We're really happy with that.
We like actually casted so well that game. Those games, we just fucking we actually just hit like 10 home runs in the first inning is what just happened.
And we're not always happy with our cast either, actually. Sometimes
there's times where
we're casting like shit.
They're very calculated about everything that they do. And I know they meet almost every day before a GSL event to kind of plan out what's going on that day. Then during the cast, kind of during the breaks, they'll tell each other, well, you can do this better, you can do this better. You need to work on that, maybe let's do less of that. And they're also one of the few casting teams that is actually a team that has a real conversation.
Uh-oh, Squirtle's taking the jacket off. He's wearing Hack's t-shirt. He's wearing Hack's t-shirt. Oh my God. Hack is the player who knocked Huck out of GSL Code A. His teammate of Squirtle, a great TVPer. What does this mean? He's wearing July 6 underwear. Oh, he's wearing his underwear. What's going on? He's wearing the shoes of Ace. He's wearing Ace's shoes.
It's really just like watching two guys who are great friends talk about a video game, but it comes across so professional that it really just sucks you in regardless of if you enjoy the game or not. And that's one of the, I think, most natural talents that Nick and Dan have, and one of the most natural talents that a lot of casters kind of strive to obtain in this business.
You know, a lot of people ask me why I'm so passionate about Starcraft, and that's really hard to answer because you don't get to choose what you're passionate about. I've played it for such a long time. I've put in so many tens of thousands of hours into watching, studying, playing. It's this beautiful, beautiful thing that I see, and I don't know how else to really describe it.
When you're going to a Starcraft 1 tournament, everything is much more, I think, epic because you're so poor and it matters so much to you.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know that tournament that we went to in New Hampshire, in your hometown, I mean, I saved up all my money to the point where I was not able to afford food if I didn't get top 3. And I got 4th, and that was terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's like good to see friends and stuff, but it was stressful in a different way.
Back when we first started going together to tournaments, it was more of a rivalry than a partnership. And to see your friend there was exciting because we didn't get to see each other that much, or any of our other friends. But at the same time, by seeing your friends there were more people that could beat you.
Ladies and gentlemen, tournament players and honored guests, welcome to New York City and the World Cyber Games United States National Final.
So this was my first big StarCraft finals, and I was really excited because for me, I felt like that had already been a huge win for me. I was just so happy, and by then, because the player I beat, Noni or Liquid Tyler, was supposed to win the tournament, and already had the reputation of basically being the best Protoss in the country. So I felt amazing already being down there. And I felt at the time that I probably could have beaten anybody. I've been practicing with my brother all summer.
And so then we're both pumped because it's kind of like a badass factor. The Plott family, we show up in 2s to tournaments.
Maybe a week or 2 before the finals, I found out that they, for some stupid reason, made the brackets based off an alphabetical list. And as it turns out, me and my brother have the same last name, so we were just put next to each other in this bracket.
You know, while myself and Tasteless were friends, this was the first time we had met in real life, and I knew that Day 9 was a strong favorite against Tasteless. You know, they were both very good. They both definitely deserved to be there representing USA at the finals, but I pretty much knew Day 9 would beat him, and I think most people knew that he was definitely an underdog going to that match. So I wasn't too hurt. I actually wanted Tasteless to win a lot because I was much better against Protoss than against Zerg at the time, and I would have rather faced Tasteless. But you know, it was no big deal. I wasn't particularly sad as I would have been nowadays to see him lose to Day 9 right there.
We both sort of somberly practiced. I practiced against Protoss, and I practiced against Zerg.
His route was to just do what he normally does. My route was, I was obviously thinking too much. I was like, I'm going to do something totally crazy and out there, because we were doing pretty even in practice. I was like, well, I'm going to do something so out there that he won't be expecting it. So I did that, and he just made air units and went to my base and killed my probes. And I was like, well, I guess I'm out. There's no losers bracket at this tournament. I guess it's over.
People always talk about, oh, it's a teammate versus a teammate. Oh, this is going to be bad. I mean, we talk about it in commentary all the time, but I mean, back then, even when StarCraft 2 is like really established now, there's huge prize pools, there's teams that have consistent money. We were just two kids who were blown away that we got free airfare to an event, and all we wanted was to win and to win the glory. And even then, to see just like that pain, just like that, I mean, if there's anyone I'd want to lose to, it would be you, but this still sucks. I mean, you just can't emphasize how awful feeling that is. But then Nick just said, he's like, Sean, I'm really proud of you. You trained really hard, and I know you're going to win this. Whew. And then I had to go play my next round, and I'm out, like the emotional state you see me in now, it was like a fraction of what I was in there. I was like, oh gosh.
You know, WCG 2005 was the most crushing thing that's ever happened to me, basically. It was pretty hurtful.
I had to play Dan second round, and I had these really specific builds that were planned out for it, that were really weird and unorthodox.
So I get crushed by Day 9. It was the worst games I had ever played. I put way too much pressure on myself. So there I am, I've lost. I have nothing until the next year. There's only one big tournament a year, which is WCG. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is awful. So, you know, I'm trying to brush it off and still have a good time. I'm hanging out with all these people that I always play with online or see online. And this really funny part happens.
It was the first time for the Starcraft matches to be up on the main stage after they'd gone through a few rounds, because the casting was doing a rotation of various games in the area. And everyone were just listening to this commentator who just clearly didn't know what he was doing, and it was all him. There wasn't even co-commentary or anything like that.
And he was there, he was commentating every game. And the truth of the matter was that nobody can really do that. I mean, you have to be kind of a specialist in each game. And there was a point in time where I think he was feeling a little bit stressed out.
They're kind of asking, the group of StarCraft players is kind of standing near each other. Like, hey, does anyone want to go up there and talk about the StarCraft stuff?
And nobody said anything, and I thought, well, why not? I'm not afraid to talk in front of people.
And I'm standing there, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like doing pros and cons in my head. I'm like, I can go up there. If no one else wants to go, I'll just go up and talk about it. You know, I know StarCraft, and I'm not really afraid of this or anything, but Tasteless is like, bam, and that's it.
So do you think that he can come up with these new strategies that nobody has seen on the fly right in the middle of a match that has the status this one does?
Well, this is going to be Yosha's first Terran versus Zerg game, and I do believe that's where his creativity shines. On a more interesting note as well, though, Day is the fastest non-Korean in the world. This guy has literally 350 actions per minute.
When I got to go on stage and talk about the game and really say what was going on, because I could see it. So a lot of people don't see what's actually happening, but I could see it.
You know, if I was Shuren right now, I'd probably be counting how many Mutalisks he has. I would want to be seeing, is he making more Mutalisks? Could he be checking the Guardians?
When I got to do that, I really felt good, because I felt like I was finally just saying what was going on. And people could suddenly see, oh my God, he's trying to trick him here. Oh, he's setting up for this.
And they let him, and he did an amazing job. And from that, they said, holy cow, we need you at more events to do StarCraft.
And Next thing I knew, they emailed me interested, basically wanted a resume for me to go to Singapore.
And that was the start of Nick's career.
So we wanted to thank a few special people who donated like a lot to this movie. And we're going to start with Stefan Glebes. Am I saying this right?
I don't know. I probably.
I hope I said your name right,
well,
Stefan.
He's German, so who knows? We don't really
Right.
have good German accents. But this guy was a Need for Speed competitive player. And I'm so glad that I hope, at least, that we had some small part in bringing you into a much better game that is StarCraft 2.
We love you, man.
John Charbonneau?
Charbonnet? Chardonnay?
Charbonneau?
John Charbonneau?
Well,
thank you.
However you say his name. He's probably, what is that, a French name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
okay.
right, yeah.
Thanks, Nick Plott, who was born in France.
Yeah,
and
no
thanks,
problem.
John Charbonneau, for donating to the film. Aloha, Brandy Rodriguez from Hawaii. Thank you so much for your support for Sons of StarCraft.
Yes. And special thank you to her partner, I believe it's Will, for being an awesome lover. Thank you so much for donating. And it just dawned to us, this movie took a while, so we hope you guys are still together. That's really fucking weird what I just said. Special thank you to Robert Kukuchka. I hope I said that right, too.
I think you did. That one's kind of
I think I got
straightforward
it.
to say. There's no funny letters in there, so big thanks to him.
Just
He's
funny
one of the,
sounds, so.
He's one of the older nerds like us. Makes
Yeah.
us not feel so bad for playing so much. But
Thank
thank you very much.
Also, thank you to Keith Convery. We are very appreciative of your donation.
Whoa, that was absolutely awesome, Tasteless.
Thank you.
An engineer out there. We
Yeah.
hope that your job gives you plenty of time to catch up on VODs at work. David Jackson from Microsoft. Hey, man.
Hey, an Xbox to you, my friend. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Hope that you like the PC more than the Xbox.